Hello student, I am Mrs. Alka Sharma from NCMS Jhabua. Today I am taking class 8 Social Science History Chapter 2 from Trade to Territory, the company established power. My dear student, in this topic you will study that how a East India Company, a small company, entered in India and they acquired the power. What are the tricks they started in India to establish their empire in India, that we are going to study detail. Now what we study today, East India Company come to East, other trading companies, East India Company, how it began with trade in Bengal, how the trade led to battles, Battle of Plassey, what happened there, after the Battle of Plassey, and company, how these company officials become nabobs. All these we are going to study. As you know, Aurangzeb, he was the last ruler of Mughal He was the last ruler of Mughal empires, and he established control over large part of territory, and that is known as India. But what happened after his death? In 1707, many Mughal governors, they are called Subedars, and some of the Zamindars, they began asserting their authority and they established their own regional kingdoms. Now, during that time, the British power emerged in India from the second half of 18th century. So, the British originally, where they come, how they came? They came to India as a small trading company and were reluctant to cross the oceans. Why? Because they looked for the new company from where they could buy goods at a cheap price and they will sell at higher price in other countries. So they will get a huge profit. That is why they entered in India. At that time, do you know, the company did not, why they enter here? Because at that time the company did not have any competition from any other English companies. Mercantile trading companies made profit primarily by excluding competition. So they could buy cheap and sell it at higher prices in other countries. So during that time the royal charter could not prevent other European powers from entering the eastern market. By the time the first English ship, it sailed down the west coast of Africa and round Cape of Good Hope and crossed to the Indian Ocean. When they entered in India, other trading companies, can they also enter during that time? Yes. The Portuguese, they established their presence in where? In the western coast of India, and they got their base in Goa. So in the Goa they established. Vasco da Gama, he discovered the sea route to India in years 1498. So these Portuguese, Dutch and the French traders, they came to India. Now what happened? Why they entered in India? What are the reason behind that? The biggest reason is there is a fine quality of cotton, silk and some different spices like cloves, pepper, cardamom, cinnamon of India had a big market in Europe. That is why they entered in India, because they will get the good quality of these products in India. So all companies were interested. So all these companies, they were interested to buy these products from India, and they asked to secure market. And due to this, because so many companies entered in India, so there was a fierce battle among these rival companies. So East India Company found it difficult to separate trade from this politics. Now what happened later? See, now the question comes, how this East India Company began to trade in Bengal. See, the first English factory that was set up on the basis of the river Hooghly in 1651. Soon the trade expanded and the company pursued the merchants and the traders to come and settle. They all will be settled near the factory, so it was easy for them. Now, so by 1696, the company built a fort around the settlement for the security, and 2 years later, it also bribed Mughal officials to control over them into giving the company, and they started giving company zamindari rights over the 3 villages. So one of these villages, do you know, that is called Calicut. which grew into city of Calcutta. Now it is called Kolkata. Next, so the East India Company persuaded Aurangzeb and issued a farman granting the company that they will give right to trade and duty free. So can he accept it? No. So the official of the companies who were carrying on private trade were expected to pay taxes, but they refused to pay these taxes. So by this reason, this cause angered the Nawab of Bengal's Murshid Quli Khan. Now, so what happened? Due to this, there was a trade led to battles. Now, after the death of Aurangzeb, what happened? When the Aurangzeb died, the Bengal Nawab, his name was Murshid Quli Khan, Ali Vardi Khan and Sirajuddaula, they refused to grant concession to the company. So what happened? On the other hand, what the company declared that it is unjust demand for the local officials were running with trade, and they demanded that duty will be free from trade. So this conflict this was the biggest conflict between the company and the Nawabs of the Bengal. So what happened? Finally it led to the battle, and that is the famous battle that we call Battle of Plassey. What happened there? See, the Battle of Plassey. What type of major incident happened during Battle of Plassey were as follows. Now when the battle will be started, Ali Vardi Khan died in 1756 and Sirajuddaula became the Nawab of Bengal. Second, the company wanted such type of person like a puppet, a person who is controlled by someone else and ruler instead. So who would willingly give all the privilege to these companies. So they tried to help one of the Sirajuddaula rivals who become the Nawab. So in this way they bribed them. Sirajuddaula got furious and asked the company to stop mending these type political affairs, and he stopped building forts, and he stopped pay the revenues. So after the negotiation, when the negotiation failed with Sirajuddaula, along with 30,000 soldiers captured the English factory at Qasim Bazar, and the company fought at Kolkata. What happened later? So on hearing about the fall of Calcutta, the company officials who are in Madras, they sent force under the command of Robert Clive. Do you know? After the negotiation with the Nawab failed with Robert Clive, this led to company against Sirajuddaula at a Plassey. So this is the biggest reason. Now, how these Robert Clive managed? Robert Clive managed to secure the support of Mir Jafar. He is one of the commander of Sirajuddaula, and he did not fight the battle against the East India Company, and thus he helped the company win the battles, and this was the company's first major victory of the battle in India. What is the main reason? See, Clive he managed to secure the support of Mir Jafar and one of the commanders of Sirajuddaula, and he did not fight with the Sirajuddaula, and then he helped the company to win the battle, and this was the company's first major victory of battle in India. So they will get more power. But what happened after the Battle of Plassey? What happened? Now, incident that happened after the Battle of Plassey were, first, after the defeat at Plassey, Sirajuddaula was assassinated and Mir Jafar was made the Nawab. Now, when Mir Jafar protested, he also protested, so he was disposed and Mir Qasim was made the Nawab. So in 1764, when Mir Qasim, he also raised the voice against this company, he was defeated in the Battle of Buxar, and Mir Jafar was again made the Nawab of Bengal. Later, Mir Jafar, when he died in 1765, and the company decided to make the Nawab themselves. So in this way, in 1765, the Mughal emperor, they appointed the company as the Diwan of Bengal. Do you know? The Diwani allowed the company to use vast revenue resources of Bengal instead of buying goods against gold, silver, and they bought from Britain. So these revenue could be used. Where they are using this revenue? This revenue, the gold and silver, they used to purchase cotton and silk textile in India. Now they maintain and by this they maintain the company troops and meet the cost of building company forts and offices at Calcutta. So they spend this money here. Now company officials become Nawab. One question comes, how these company officials got the title Nawab? See the reason here. Now after the battle of Plassey, the actual Nawab of Bengals were forced. They were forced that they give up their lands and the vast amount of money as a personal gift to company officials. They are forcing them to give them. So the Robert Clive himself amassed a fortune in India. Do you know? He had come to Madras from England in 1743. During his age, he was only 18. When in 1767 he left India, his Indian fortune was worth large amount of money. So when the Clive was appointed as a governor of Bengal in 1764, he was asked to remove corruption in the company administration, because so many officials are doing corruption, but not all. So he was cross-examined in 1772 by the British Parliament, and which was suspicious of his vast wealth, how he earned this large amount of wealth. So although he was appointed and what happened? He committed suicide in 1774. So however, but not all company officials were succeeded in making companies such as Clive has done, but many died an early death in India due to some reasons like diseases and war, and it would not be right to record all of them, as we will think that all of them were corrupt and dishonest. So they were often seen as upstart and social climbers in British society. So they were called Nawab. It was an Anglicized version of Indian word Nawab. Nawab, it is a version of Indian word Nawab. Generally, it is applied to those who earn a lot of money when they are in India, and from India they let this money and they live flashy lives in England. So the peoples has given the title the Nawab to them. Now today we study that how a small company entered in India and they established their power. What happened when after the death of Aurangzeb, how these different Nawabs, some of them had this East India Company for making the profit, and in this way, and they had adopted these type tricks, and slowly how they established their power. In the next time we will study how they increased their power, how their money, how the people started struggle. Thank you.